Auzubillahiminash-shaytanir-rajim. Bismillahir-rahmanir-rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulina wa habibina wa tabi qulubina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa ashabihi wa atba'ihi wa ikhwanihi min al-anbiya'i wal mursalin ajma'in. Radiyallahu anna wa ankum wa an kafatil mu'minin. Rabbana atina min ladunka rahmatan wa hi lana min amrina rashada. I'm very happy that we are resuming our sohbet, our conversations and our explorations about Futuwwa after FIFA break, because there was a time interval. I'd like to refresh our minds once again about what's Futuwwa and also why we need to remember Futuwwa and why it's important to know and practice Futuwwa today. Why should we care about it? I would like to refresh our minds about this because when we started, I talked a little bit about these things, but we need to do it again. I heard that there is a ministry in UK. It's called Ministry of Loneliness. Somebody told me about this. I could not believe. I said, it's impossible, to have a Ministry of Loneliness. And then I checked in the internet. It's true. There is Ministry of Loneliness. Unbelievable. They have Ministry of Loneliness because there are so many lonely people, and they die and they are lonely. And after days pass, people come and discover that the person is dead. So why? What does this show about modern society? What does this tell us about the morality of modern or postmodern society? This shows that people are alienated to each other. So no friends, no family, no children, no wife, no husband. The person is alone and is dying alone. Nobody is around to care, to help. So what caused humanity to come to this level? Okay, this is in the UK today, but next day it will be in our countries too, in our societies too, because everything that happens there spreads around. All kinds of social problems spread so quickly around the world. So this shows that modern education, postmodern education, alienates people to each other. We became alienated to each other. We don't know how to relate to each other. We don't know how to become friends to each other. We don't know how to establish a family. We don't know how to become good parents, good children, good spouses. And this is the outcome of this modern and postmodern education. What is so dangerous, detrimental, and harmful in the modern and postmodern education? For me, it is individualism. It's individualism and the focus on individual success, focus on self-interest. That's why people cannot justify in their minds why they should care about other people. So this is a big problem, and there is no answer, from a materialistic, individualistic perspective to why should people make sacrifice, for other people? Why should they care about other people? I observed this because my background in sociology, and I observed this in my friends, in the people around me, and I saw that this is spreading among the Muslims also. It's so dangerous, so detrimental in Western societies, but same thing is spreading in the Muslim world as well. So I thought I need to find a solution to this. Of course, I cannot solve global problems, but my philosophy is that lit a candle rather than cursing the darkness. This is my philosophy. So do something small as much as you can, and then when you stand in the presence of Allah Ta'ala on the day of judgment, you can say, oh Allah, this is how much I could do. But if you don't do anything, simply complain, it's not going to bring any good. We are so accustomed to talk about the problem is, but just be part of the solution, say the solution is. So I thought, what would be the solution? And my research, my thinking, my contemplation after so many years brought me to the conclusion that Futuwwa is the solution to this alienation, social alienation, to this social fragmentation, atomization. And so today we are lonely crowds. Like we live in the crowd, but we are lonely. Why? Because this friendship died, solidarity died, helping, sharing, caring died. So there is just crowds, but no solidarity, no society. So Futuwwa is the solution for this. And Futuwwa is about makarim al-akhlaq. Futuwwa means makarim al-akhlaq. And Rasulullah said, بُعِثْتُ لِأُتَمِّمَ مَكَارِمَ الْأَخْلَاقِ. So his mission was to perfect the excellent morality. And he did so. Now, if you follow Prophet Muhammad, it should be our mission. Our mission should be perfecting the morality and spreading around the world. If we are good followers of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, this is what we are supposed to do. So that's why our project is a moral project. Our project is an ethical project. And morality and ethics, these are relational concepts. If there is a person alone, there is no morality, there is no ethics. Only when there are other people around him and he is related to them, then morality is needed, ethics is needed. So morality, ethics, or in Islamic terms, Futuwwa, makarim al-akhlaq, or adab, these are like same synonymous concepts. These are about how we govern our relationships. But we have relationship with everything in existence, from Allah Ta'ala to plants, to animals, and to other human beings. So Futuwwa regulates our relationship with Allah Ta'ala, with Rasulullah, with Kitabullah, with As-Salaf As-Salihin, with our family, and as mentioned in our book, with angels around us, and with our family, with nature, with everything. So it's a relational concept, like akhlaq and adab. And akhlaq and adab has levels. At one level, it is reciprocal, based on exchange. You give me this, I give you that. This is perfectly acceptable. This is the level of Sharia, based on reciprocity, based on exchange. But makarim al-akhlaq is not based on exchange. Makarim al-akhlaq, Futuwwa, adab, is based on altruism, which is giving priority to the other. It's a completely opposite and different view of social world and social relationship. So when we relate ourselves to other people, we don't do it using an exchange paradigm. We don't use it based on a reciprocal paradigm. We do it because it is the right thing to do. We help others because it's the right thing to do, because it's pleasing to Allah Ta'ala, not because we expect something in return from them. That's Futuwwa. But for the general people, their relationship with others is based on reciprocity, even with Allah Ta'ala. They do something, they want ajr, a reward for it in exchange from Allah Ta'ala. But we worship Allah Ta'ala not for expectation of any reward from Him, because He is Allah. Because worshipping Him is the right thing to do. This is the best thing to do. So this is the basic logic of Futuwwa. And today we need a moral revolution in the world, from individualistic self-interest ethics to altruistic ethics. So if we want strong societies, strong families, strong friendships, we need a paradigm shift. We need a perspective shift. We need a new understanding. So if friendship is based on altruism, on futuwwa, it's very solid, very strong. But if it's based on self-interest, what do I get from this relationship? When the interest disappears, friendship also dies. If family relationships is based on interest, if there is no interest, no more family relationship, right? But if the family relationship is based on the futuwwa, this altruistic ethics, giving priority to other people, makarim al-akhlaq and adab, then it's very solid family relationship. So today, this is a remedy to make resilient families. Today, families are very fragile. It collapses right away. A small wind is enough to destroy it, right? If you want to make resilient, strong families, we need to make the family based on futuwwa. If you want like strong friendships, we need to change friendship from self-interest to futuwwa friendship. Then it's strong and permanent. Why? Because this is based on love of Allah Ta'ala. This is based on love of Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam. Okay, now let's review the principles. We have read briefly, and then inshallah we start and continue from the point where we stopped. First principle, Abu Abdurrahman as-Sulami. By the way, the book we are reading, this by Abu Abdurrahman as-Sulami, it is written 1,000 years ago. It's an old book, and I am basing my talk about futuwwa on this book because I believe in rooted revival. The bigness, the greatness of a tree depends on how big its roots. So our roots are so large and deep, to show this. And our children, our students should know that we have a long history, very rich tradition. And they asked Newton, they said, how come you see things we don't see? He replied, because I stand on the shoulders of the giants. So if a dwarf stands on the shoulder of giants, he sees further than a tall man, right? So, we are like dwarfs, but we are standing on the shoulders of giants because Abu Abdurrahman as-Sulami and people like him, these great scholars, they are giants. We should stand on their shoulders rather than trying to build everything from scratch, from zero. So Abu Abdurrahman as-Sulami, as the first principle of futuwwa, he mentioned that هي الموافقة وحسن الطاعة وترك كل مذموم وملازمة مكارم الأخلاق ومحاسنها ظاهرا وباطنا سرا وعلانا. So he said, futuwwa is al-muwafaqa. Muwafaqa means compliance. Compliance with friends. This is opposite of selfishness, egoism. Because let's say you say something, your friend says something. If you are selfish, you are egoist, you insist, let's do what I'm saying. And if the other side insists, then friendship is broken. But if muwafaqa, compliance, is practiced, okay, you say, okay, let's do what you said. And then the other side says, let's do what you said. See what I mean? Then no conflict. Friendship is much stronger. It will survive forever, right? So muwafaqa is very important, and it's based on compromise, giving priority to the other person's opinion. Of course, as long as it's halal, as long as it's mubah. If something is haram, we are against it. Like what you are saying is halal, and what your friend is saying halal, just prefer what he says, and then by making this preference, by the sacrifice, giving priority to your partner, friend, whatever, you gain ajrs from Allah Ta'ala. This is pleasing to Allah. Why? Because this is the akhlaq of Rasulullah alayhi wasallam. So this is al-muwafaqa. And also, following the excellent, good characters, zahiran wa batinan. This is also very important, internally and externally. So we should feel the way Rasulullah felt, like inside. When you are offering something to somebody, in your heart, your intention should be good. And also you should feel generosity inside your heart. Giving something out should make you happy. You should enjoy it. Then this is, following the sunnah of Rasulullah batinan, in your heart. And also zahiran, externally. So the first principle of futuwwa is compliance with your friends. Going along with your friends. Rather than being selfish, individualist, and insisting that let's do what I want. Okay? So, you want to eat something, your friend wants to eat something else. Okay, you say, okay, let's eat what you want. You want to play football, he wants to play volleyball. Okay, let's play volleyball. And then he says, let's play football. So, this compliance makes friendship stronger. And second principle, al-mulatafa ma'al ikhwan. Being kind and tender with your friends. Kindness is the sunnah of Rasulullah. Most important, one of the most important principles of makarim al-akhlaq, being kind. And this is, Allah Ta'ala made our kindness to each other part of our religion. And even smiling to each other is part of our religion. So if there is nothing else to show that Islam is the true religion of Allah, this is enough. That Islam made smiling to each other an act of worship, pleasing to Allah Ta'ala. When you smile to each other, you get reward from Allah Ta'ala as if you are making salat, as if you are giving zakat, as if you are going to Hajj. Same thing, same category. Which other religion has something like that? Which other ideology, secular ideology, socialism, communism, fascism, liberalism, which one has such an idea, such a practice that smiling to each other, is one of the sacred acts, one of the most pleasing acts to Allah Ta'ala. Sometimes when I see these things, I say, if there is nothing else, this is enough for me to become Muslim. Just this principle is enough, because no other, ethics, morality. I read so many ethics books, philosophy, from Aristotle up until like postmodernists. None of them has such a principle. So this shows that this cannot come from a human mind. It must come from Allah Ta'ala. And Allah is so generous that you be kind to each other. He becomes pleased with you. He rewards you with paradise. So first principle, al-muwafaqa. The second principle, al-mulatafa, latif. You become latif to each other. Wal-qiyam bihawaijihim. And you work to meet the needs of your friends. So kindness and friendship is not just by words, by action. You show that you are a friend in your actions. You stand up, you do the work. You talk the talk, you walk the walk. Doing whatever it takes to meet the needs of your friends. And the same way, the time you spend to meet the needs of your friends is accepted by Allah Ta'ala, like salat, like fasting, like reading Quran. So this part of makarim al-akhlaq, Rasulullah ﷺ taught to us. This is his heritage. This is his legacy. We need to reclaim it. We need to revive it, inshallah ta'ala, as an alternative to this postmodern ethics which is being imposed on us from all directions, through TV, through internet, through media. They want to hijack our minds. They want to like remote control us. They want to give a command, okay, dress this way, speak this way, head haircut this way. They want to control. And this control became so feasible, possible, and so cheap through social media today. And this is what they do. But in order to emancipate ourselves, liberate ourselves from like getting our brains hijacked, we have to follow the Futuwwa. This is independence. Another principle, muqabalatul isaa bil ihsan. Respond to wrongdoing with good action. Respond to wrongdoing with good action. So I told you from the beginning that Futuwwa is not based on reciprocity. Futuwwa is based on doing what is the right thing. Whatever is the right thing, you do it regardless of the consequences. That's Futuwwa. Regardless of how the other side will respond. Because this is the right thing and you want to do it, whether they appreciate it or don't appreciate it, whether they reward you, whether they applaud you, or just curse you, criticize you, hate you, no problem. Because this is the right thing to do and you go ahead and do it. So that's why even though they mistreat you, you treat them nicely. Even they do wrong things to you, you do right things to you. Why? Because you cannot wrong anybody. You cannot mistreat anybody. Even if they mistreat you, you cannot mistreat them. Because treating others nicely, kindly is the right thing to do. You do the right thing, regardless of the mundane present consequences. We care about the consequences in the hereafter. We care about the consequences at the level of Allah Ta'ala. We don't care about the consequences from other human beings or from this temporary life. These are not so important. What's important is the consequence of your actions in the hereafter, which is the eternal life. Another principle of Futuwwa, which we have studied earlier, ترك طلب عثرات الإخوان. Don't spy on discovering people's shortcomings, their mistakes, their faults. Instead, just cover it up. So ولا تجسسوا. Allah Ta'ala says, don't spy on each other. Don't try to expose their privacy. If they are doing something wrong, just leave it alone. ومن الفتوة حضور الدار من يثق به من الإخوان من غير دعوة. This is also a very good principle. One of the principles of Futuwwa, visiting the homes of your friends without expecting invitation. Okay? So like we expect invitation. Okay, let him call me to dinner. Let him call me to a nice feast. And if I go without invitation, it will be like dishonoring myself. No, just call, I am coming. We'll just have a tea. I am bringing the cake. Just make tea is enough. Even the tea is not there, that's okay. I'm just coming to visit you. See what I mean? Without burdening the other side. Don't say, I am coming, prepare a nice dinner for me. I want baklava, I want kebab. No. See what I mean? Just say, I am coming just to have a chat with you, to visit you. And because visiting each other is also part of the makarim akhlaq. When you visit your brother, if you follow the adab of ziyarah, the time you spend during this visit is like the time you spend when you make salat, when you read Quran. So important, establishing these relationships among Muslims, and strengthening them and improving them and getting to know like what they need, what problem they have, listening to them. So this tazawur is very important. So alhamdulillah, some brothers practice this. They say, oh, I'm coming, to visit you. Don't bother. I'm just coming to see you. But sometimes, like wives make big problem. Oh, guests are coming. We have to make big preparation. I say to like my mom and to my wife, they don't come to check how much income we have, whether we rich or poor. They don't come to check our furniture. They're just coming to see us. But ladies are more concerned about homes, but we have to understand them as well. So, من الفتوة ترك العيب على طعام يقدم إليه. So one of the rules of the futuwwa is that when something is offered to you to eat, don't search for any mistake in it. Don't make any negative comment about the food. You like it, eat it. You don't like it, don't eat it. So when you go to visit someone else's home, maybe they don't have nice food, nice thing to offer to you. They may have something which you may not like, or it may have some fault in it. So don't comment, don't criticize, any food that's presented to you, because this is the akhlaq of Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam. When he was offered something, either he ate it or he didn't say anything, just left without making any negative comment about that. Again, one of the principles of futuwwa استعمال مكارم الأخلاق إذ هي من أعمال أهل الجنة. Practicing مكارم الأخلاق, because مكارم الأخلاق is akhlaq of people of paradise. See, such a good thing. If you practice مكارم الأخلاق, you are practicing akhlaq of the people of paradise. Because Rasulullah practiced this akhlaq, right? And then he died, alayhi salam, and he went to paradise. He's not going to change his akhlaq. He'll continue the same way. All the awliyaullah, all the anbiyaullah, they will continue acting, behaving the way they behave in this world. So makarim al-akhlaq came to us from paradise. Because Sayyidina Adam and Hawa, they are considered first feta in history. Adam alayhi salam, he's mentioned in the Futuwwa books, first feta. Someone who embodied all the values and principles of Futuwwa in his life. And they say, be like Adam. He's the first feta. When you make a mistake, apologize the way he apologized. Because this is a sign of Futuwwa. Only people of Futuwwa, they acknowledge their mistake, apologize for it, and try to make it up. But people who don't have good ethics and morality, they resist accepting their mistake, and they resist apologizing for it. They resist making up for their mistakes. Because this is shaitan's akhlaq. Because what happened? Like Sayyidina Adam made a mistake and shaitan made a mistake. What did Adam alayhi salam do after he made a mistake? He accepted his mistake and apologized. What did shaitan do? Shaitan accused Allah Ta'ala for not ordering something correct. As if Allah Ta'ala doesn't know like what to order. He says, how can you order me to prostrate in front of someone who's lower than me? You created him from soil and me from fire. As if Allah doesn't know these things and giving improper comment. This is shaitan's behavior, not accepting the mistake and making excuses to justify, to defend his mistake. But Sayyidina Adam alayhi salam and Hawa alayhi salam, they accepted what the mistake they made. This is futuwwa. And accepting your mistake and apologizing for it is the most fundamental principle of makarim al-akhlaq. Because this is opposite of arrogance. Because if someone is arrogant, doesn't accept his mistake, doesn't apologize for it, because he thinks, I will lose my honor if I accept my mistake. I will lose my status, prestige, if I apologize for my mistake. But just the opposite. When someone makes istighfar, tawbah, apology, Allah Ta'ala elevates his status in in his own level, but also in the sight of other people. So good morality of Islam, excellent morality of Futuwwa originates from paradise. We learn it, practice it here, and when we die, go to paradise, we continue the same way. We don't change our akhlaq. So if everyone in this world practices makarim al-akhlaq, the futuwwa, the adab, this dunya turns into paradise. But unfortunately, some people follow the shaitan. That's why we have so many bad things happening in this world. Another principle of futuwwa, at-ta'aluf ma'al ikhwan, socializing, befriending with other people, socializing, befriending with other people. That's a principle of futuwwa. So today, people are afraid of socializing with other people, talking to them, and they don't even give salam. Look, Allah Ta'ala made salam an ibadah. In some of those cultures, they don't say anything. People pass by each other, they don't say anything. As if two animals are passing by each other. We are human beings, you have to greet, say salam alaikum, alaikum salam, say hi, how are you, something, right? No, they don't speak to each other. They pass, and they sit together sometimes, they don't speak to each other. So this ta'aluf is not there. Al-ulfat. Al-ulfat, this ta'aluf is very important part of makarim al-akhlaq. And also another principle of futuwwa is as-sakhawa, being generous. Being generous, because Rasulullah said, Al-jannatu darul askhiya. Paradise is the land of generous people. Paradise is the land of generous people. So if someone is not generous, he is not a follower of Prophet Muḥammad ﷺ. He is not good Muslim. Because paradise is the land of the generous people, and the most generous person ever lived is Rasulullah ﷺ. And Sayyidatuna Aisha radiallahu anha, she said, Rasulullah ﷺ was so generous, but in Ramadan, he became even more generous. He was like cloud. What does the cloud give? Itself. Right? Nothing remains. It gives itself. Look at this tashbih. He was like that, giving everything. Actually, he gave his whole life, everything he had, to his ummah, to educate them. And we should follow this example of being generous. And if you are generous to other people, Allah will be generous to you. If you are stingy to other people, Allah will be stingy to you. So the principle is that treat other people the way you want Allah to treat you. Treat other people the way you want Allah Ta'ala treat you. Okay? عامل الناس كما تريد أن الله يعاملك. Behave to other people the way you want Allah behave with you. So if you want Allah to be generous to you, be generous to other people. Okay. Another principle of futuwwa, أن يتعمد الرجل إخوانه. One of the principles of futuwwa is that one should work for his friends. One should act for his friends. Not just verbal praise or friendship. With your actions. And another principle of futuwwa is isti'mal al-adab waqt al-akl. Practicing principle of futuwwa when you are eating. So what are the principles of adab and futuwwa while eating? Like give priority to the other person. Don't watch what he's eating. Don't count his bites. See what I mean? Just focus on your own side. So these are etiquette or adab of futuwwa while eating. من الفتوة المداراة مع الإخوان ما لم تكن معصية. One of the principles of futuwwa is al-mudarat. Al-mudarat is a difficult concept to translate. It's forbearance, managing the situation, and also al-mudarat is defined as عدم استعجال في تصحيح الأخطاء والتربية. عدم استعجال, not rushing into correcting mistakes right away. So wait, be patient until the proper time comes to correct something, okay? So let's say you see that your friend or someone in your family, someone in your neighbors, like colleagues, is making a mistake. If you go there right away and tell him, hey, this is wrong, don't do it, change it, then there will be counteraction. And it will be completely counterproductive. So wait for the proper time when you are having nice tea, smiling, joking, in a friend, then you can tell. See what I mean? So al-mudarat, not hastening, not rushing right away to correct the mistakes, and also educating other people. Wait for the proper time. ما لم يكن معصية, if it is not something haram. If it's something haram, then you can immediately intervene and say, okay, this is wrong, don't do it, okay? But if it's not haram, you can tolerate and wait for the proper time to correct. Another principle, al-musa'ada ma'al ikhwan wa muwafaqatuhum, helping friends. Helping friends, when they need. So this is part of the futuwwa. And another principle of futuwwa, أن يبدأ في رفقه بأصحابه دون خاصته. You should show your kindness to everyone, not just your immediate, intimate friends. Okay, your kindness should be shown to everybody, even like strangers. People who are not very close friends to you. I mean, everyone shows friendship and kindness to intimate friends, close friends. This is not a big virtue. The real virtue is to treat strangers, foreigners, the way you treat your close friends. That's the real virtue. So this is the principle of futuwwa. You treat strangers the way you treat your closest friend. And Rasulullah used to do this, used to practice this. Another principle of futuwwa, أن يمكن إخوانه أن يحكموا في ماله كحكمهم في أموالهم. One of the principles of futuwwa is to let your friends to use your property, your belongings, the way they use their own belongings. That's real friendship. Like your car, your computer, your pen, like other things that you have, you allow your friends use them as if it's their own. That's real friendship. Okay? Of course, that friend also should be careful when using someone else's belonging and property, and should not cause any harm to it. Another principle of futuwwa is muhabbatul qira wa diyafa. Loving to give feast. Loving to give feast. Treating people over meal. Muhabbatul qira wa diyafa. So some people love to be invited. Some people love to invite other people. Some people like to treat other people. Some people like to be treated. So if you like to treat other people, then you are a good feta. See what I mean? When you are happy, when you give something, when you feel happy, when you sacrifice something for others, then you are a real feta. You internalize the akhlaq of Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam. this is real futuwwa. But this is something we really need to learn. And we should teach this to our children when they are young. How you can teach it? You give money, you say, spend this money with your friends. Take them to canteen or to cafeteria, buy something for all your friends. Or from home, when the child is going to school, put a lot of chocolate or like whatever is good, in the bag. Tell them, okay, distribute this to your friends. See what I mean? So this is how they learn. So when you buy something, buy two. And then say, okay, give this to your friend. So it's how you teach generosity when the child is still young. And tell your children, invite your friends over home. Let's treat them at home. Let's buy them pizza. Let's whatever they like. So this way he learns how to invite friends, how to treat them nicely, how to be generous to other friends. So this is how you practically teach them mahabbatul qira wal diyafa, loving to give feast and loving to offer meals to other people. And another principle, ta'zimul ikhwan wal harakatu lahum, venerating, respecting your friends and acting for them to show your respect. Acting for them to show your respect. So don't take your friends like for granted. And also, if you have a long-time friend, show them even more respect and express this in your actions. وَالْحَرَكَةُ لَهُمْ. Express this in your actions, that you really respect your friend. You really value your friend. Okay? Show it in your actions, not just in the heart. وَمِنَ الْفُتُوَّةِ إِسْتِقَامَةُ الْأَحْوَالِ. One of the principles of Futuwwa is always be honest. Always be honest in everything. And another principle of Futuwwa, من الفتوة الشفقة على الإخوان والمواساة معهم. Being merciful, compassionate with your friends all the time. Be compassionate with your friends all the time. الراحمون يرحمهم الرحمن. Rasulullah said, those who are compassionate to creation of Allah Ta'ala, Allah will be compassionate to them. Okay? So, if you are compassionate to the creation of Allah Ta'ala, including human beings, including animals, then Allah Ta'ala will be compassionate to you as well. And actually, this is the first hadith which is taught in the classical hadith education. This is the first hadith like traditional sheikhs teach their students. الراحمون يرحمهم الرحمن ارحموا من في الأرض يرحمكم من في السماء. Those who have rahmah, Allah will have rahmah for them and show rahmah to those on the earth, so that the one in the heavens shows rahmah to you. This is the first hadith they teach. This is hadith musalsal. Yes, and another principle of Futuwwa is التحبب والتزاور في الله والتواصل. التحبب والتزاور. Loving each other for the sake of Allah, and also visiting each other for the sake of Allah Ta'ala. This doesn't exist in postmodern ethics. This doesn't exist in modern ethics. This doesn't exist in ancient Greek ethics, Nicomachean ethics. No, in none of them. Loving each other for the sake of Allah Ta'ala. So this shows that there is a vertical relationship between two human beings. There's a horizontal relationship between two human beings and a vertical relationship between a human being and Allah Ta'ala. So vertical relationship with Allah and horizontal relationship with other creatures, other people. So this at-tahabbu fillah combines both. I love my friends for the sake of Allah Ta'ala. So vertical and horizontal the same. And also what's important, at-tazawur, visiting each other. Whoever goes to visit, he gets the ajr. Whoever hosts, he gets the ajr. This is ibadah from Allah Ta'ala, and we should spend time to visit each other. And when we visit each other, we should not think this is waste of time. Because this is what those egoistic, self-interest minded people think. When they spend time with their friends, if there is no interest involved, if there is no networking, then they say this is waste of time. No, we don't think that way. Because ziyarah of each other, this is a part of our religion, and at-tawasul, keeping in communication all the time, keeping in touch. This is also part of makarim al-akhlaq. ومن الفتوة محبة الغرباء وحسن تعهدهم. Part of the futuwwa is loving the destitute people, the poor people, the strangers, al-ghuraba. Rich people, successful people, everyone loves them. Everyone treats them nicely. Why? Because they are nice, clean, respected, they have high status. So everyone loves them. And if you are close to them, you benefit from this. And if you do something nice to them, they have the power to return it. But al-ghuraba, you be kind and generous only for the sake of Allah Ta'ala. Because they have no power to return the favor you are offering to them. And if they have no power to return it back to you, then this is a sign of complete ikhlas. That means you are treating nicely only for the sake of Allah Ta'ala, because it's impossible for them to do any favor to you. So that's why, showing kindness and being generous to al-ghuraba, the destitute, the weak, the poor, is part of the al-futuwwa. So, everyone invites rich people to their home to offer them meal. This is not a virtue. If you invite poor people to your home and offer them food, then this is real virtue. وَيُطْعِمُونَ الطَّعَامَ عَلَى حُبِّهِ مِسْكِينًا وَيَتِيمًا وَأَسِيرًا. So, again, من الفتوة صدق الحديث وأداء الأمانة. Part of the futuwwa is be honest and truthful in your speech, and also protecting any trust that's given to you. And this is also part of the futuwwa. And another principle of tawwa, إصلاح السر قبل الزي بزي الصالحين. Beautifying inside, illuminating, reforming inside of you, your heart, before you beautify, illuminate outside. So give priority to cleaning, beautifying, illuminating inside of you, which is your heart. But today, just the opposite. They're like image making. Our age is image making. You are what your image is about. And then there are PR companies, you pay them money, they make you the way you want to appear to the public. You say, I want to be perceived as a very helpful person. They take you to some orphans, they take nice pictures, etc. Then, they build your image. These are image-making companies. So, but futuwwa just the opposite. Focus on your inside. Change your inside. Give priority to making your inside beautiful, as opposed to your outside. Of course, outside is also important, but keep a balance and give priority to your inside. Again, من الفتوة الأكل بعد أكل الأصحاب. One of the principles of futuwwa is eating after you feed your friends. Give priority feeding your friends first, then you eat yourself. Let's say there is food that's enough only to your friends. Don't eat and then let them hungry. Okay, give priority to them. من الفتوة أن يرى أن الباقي من ماله ما بذله لا ما أمسكه. Part of futuwwa is that you see as your permanent property what you spent for the sake of Allah, but not what you saved and hold for yourself. Because what you spent for the sake of Allah Ta'ala, you will get it in paradise. It's like depositing your money to paradise account. You will get it there. But what you hold, what you save, you will be questionable with that. So this completely turns upside down the capitalistic understanding of what's your real property. Your real property is you what get out. Looks like a paradox, right? Our economists cannot teach this to their students. But if you have such an economy, our economy will be really different. So if people start thinking, our real property is what we give out to other people, but not what we say, everything will change, right? And this is how Rasulullah taught. من الفتوة الإفطار على سرور الإخوان. One of the principles of futuwwa is that is to make iftar, like break your fasting when your friends invite you over a meal. So look at this religion. Allah is pleased when you abandon your fasting for the sake of Allah Ta'ala just to make your friend happy because he invited you to have a meal with him. So look at this, refinement, and look at this sensitivity. Look at this priority given to make a human being happy. So Allah becomes happy when you make your friend happy and you break your fast for the sake of making this brother or sister happy because she's invited you over a meal. This is part of the futuwwa, giving priority to make some people happy over your own individual prayers. Okay, inshallah, we are finishing our review in a few minutes, inshallah. ومن الفتوة حسن العشرة والملاعبة مع الإخوان والبشر معهم. Part of the futuwwa is to make jokes with your friends, to make them happy. الملاعبة, to play with them. الملاعبة والعشرة والبشر معهم. To be joyful, to be happy, to play with them, to be playful with them, with your friends. Again, another principle of futuwwa, أن لا يطالع العبد نفسه لا أفعالها ولا يطلب على فعله عوضا. One should not give importance to himself or to his actions. One should not have excessive self-esteem. Oh, I am such an important person. I am VVIP. I am an angel. I am a big shot. No. Just look at yourself in a moderate way. Don't exaggerate. And also your actions. Oh, I do everything excellent. No. And also, وَلَا يَطْلُبْ عَلَى فِعْلِ إِوَضًا. So when you do something nice to other people, don't expect anything in exchange from them. You did it for the sake of Allah Ta'ala. You did it because it is the right thing to do. Finished. Don't expect anything from other side. So this again, another principle of futuwwa. And another principle, ملازمة التوبة وتصحيحها بصحة العزم على ترك العودة ما منه ابتاب. Constantly making tawbah, constantly self-reflecting, or thinking or on your own actions, being self-conscious about what I am doing. Is it wrong? is it correct or not, and always making tawbah, apologizing for your actions from Allah Ta'ala, constant tawbah, because we are never perfect, we always make mistakes, we have a lot of shortcomings, so don't think like we are perfect, always make istighfar for your actions. Another principle of Futuwwa, istijlabu mahabbatillahi bittahabbubi ila awliyaihi. Trying to gain love of Allah Ta'ala by gaining love of His awliya. You gain love of awliya, and then this will bring you love of Allah Ta'ala. Or you love awliya, this brings you love of Allah Ta'ala. So you love Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, you love Sahaba, you love scholars, you love people who dedicated their lives to Allah Ta'ala. This brings you love of Allah Ta'ala. Okay? If you want to gain love of Allah, love the people whom He loves. قُلْ إِن كُنْتُمْ تُحِبُّونَ اللَّهَ فَاتَّبِعُونِي يُحْبِبْكُمُ اللَّهِ. This is in the Quran. Allah Ta'ala says to His Messenger, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, tell them, if you love Allah and you want Allah to love you, love me, then Allah will love you. Okay? So what's the way to gain love of Allah? To love Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam. Okay? If you love Rasulullah alayhi wasalam, He will love you. That's the way, that's the key to the love of Allah Ta'ala. So, we love Rasulullah sallallahu and also we love awliyaullah. And who is awliya? There was a sheikh walking in the Grand Bazaar in Istanbul. And some of the shopkeepers came and asked him. He said, is there awliya today in the world? He said, my son, if you make 5 times salat properly and gain your livelihood from halal, you are awliya today. You are wali. You just eat halal and make 5 times salat. You are counted as wali in this age because standards are lower now. We are not living in the time of Sahaba. Just eating from halal and making your 5 times salat brings you to the level of awliyaullah. Inshallah ta'ala. May Allah make us always with those people, and may Allah bless us with their love. And through their love, bless us with His own love. Inshallah ta'ala. ومن الفتوة ألا تعاتب إخوانك عند زلاتهم وأن تتوب عنهم إذا أذنبوا. Part of the futuwwa is that you don't get angry when your friends make small mistakes, and you make istighfar on their behalf. Subhanallah. You make istighfar on behalf of your brother, on behalf of your sister. You see them like making a mistake, and you make istighfar. Actually, we do this in every salat. رَبَّنَا اغْفِرْ لِي وَلِوَالِدَيَّ وَلِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ. Right? We say, oh Allah, forgive me, forgive my parents, and forgive all believers. See? We make istighfar on behalf of all other believers, right? So, making istighfar on behalf of other believers is a sunnah of Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam, and this is what we do in salat, but we should do it outside salat as well. And this is part of the futuwwa. You care for their well-being in the hereafter. Because if they go to hereafter without being forgiven, they will go to hellfire. So that's why you make istighfar for them so that they are forgiven and go to paradise. These are all taken from ahadith, and I am not reading the ahadith because we have already read the dalil for each one in our previous classes. This is just a review session to refresh our minds about them. Okay, inshallah ta'ala, we can stop here because the Isha time has already come. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه والحمد لله رب العالمين. جزاكم الله خيرا.
Jazakallah khairan, Sheikh. Just a quick announcement. Jazakallah khairan for coming. We have snacks and drinks available, so once you exit and go to the left, there's a cafe there.